Gambit issue number 2 from Marvel Comics. So this is the story where we have Remy LeBeau, Gambit, teaming up with Storm, who is now a child because of some kind of situation where she dealt with the orphan maker and the nanny. Somehow that turned her into a kid. I don't know exactly how because I didn't read that. But yeah, it's kind of funny because this issue starts off with them talking about how they settled an old score with the Shadow King. And that's what the first issue was about, was them dealing with the Shadow King. And I'm like, did you really settle a score with the Shadow King, though? Because I didn't spoil it in my review because I don't usually like giving spoilers for comics that I'm reviewing. Unless it's like retro stuff, then I don't mind. But if it's stuff that just came out, I don't want to spoil it in case anyone, has picked it up and hasn't read them yet. But I guess spoiler for that issue, Storm settles an old score with the Shadow King by throwing a pie in his face and then running away. No, I'm not joking. That's literally how she settled a score. She throws a pie in his face. So somehow that's their score settled, and now Remy is driving down the highway with a 11-year-old kid in his car. And up ahead, they see two oncoming cars bashing against each other. Remy has to twist the wheel to try to dodge their trucks from hitting them, but that unfortunately sends them off a cliff into the water. The car is old, so there's no airbags. Remy goes face first into the steering wheel. Storm goes face first into the windshield. Remy thankfully does not get knocked out. Storm does. So thankfully, since he wasn't unconscious, he's able to grab Storm and yank her out of her seat and take her up to give her some air. In fact, one of the things he does is she's kind of trapped in her chair, so he takes out one of his cards, throws it, and uses the explosion to kind of rocket her out of the chair and also rocket them up. And he loses his grip on her, but this woman shows up and grabs Storm and, pulls her to the shore. And Remy follows after her, and she takes him for a ride in her truck. And it turns out that it's one of the trucks that Remy had to swerve out of the way for. And he's like, we gave her CPR, but she's got a pulse, but we need to get to a hospital. And the girl's like, we can't. Hospitals is too far, but my mom can help her out. My mom was a military doctor, so she can do what she can. So yeah, we see Storm still unconscious. She has tubes and stuff hooked up to her. First night's gonna be tough, but she's gonna pull through. And we have Gabriella. She's the woman's mom, and the woman's name is Marisa. But Gabriella says, she's going to be fine. You can stay here until she's okay. Meanwhile, Remy is, sharing a cup of coffee with Marisa and basically asks her for another favor. And so Marisa drives him back to where their car crashed, and the two of them dive under to grab Remy's gear, or at least the important stuff from the gear. And when they come out of the water, that's when you see this man in tuxedo. His name is Solars. And Solars has some other henchmen with him, and he basically has an offer. And he's like, my offer is fair enough. Take it, otherwise there's gonna be some problems. And Remy kind of shows up, and he's like, the lady ain't the one you got to be worried about. Your car drove me off the road, and you just said that the driver works for you, so that means we're gonna have to have a talk. Of course, Solars doesn't like that. The henchmen go to basically put a beat down on the two of them when Remy pulls out one of his cars and he lights it up, and Solars and his men freak out and they rush out. And yeah, that's when Marisa finds out that Remy's a mutant, and she kind of shares some of her backstory too, where she was in the military. She wasn't a field doctor like her mom was. Instead, she was in the Marines. So she's a tough broad who can take care of herself. And she basically says that Solars is buying up all the land around. He wants to own all the land so he can make huge real estates. He tried to buy some of the other properties. Some of them didn't accept his offer, and then accidents started to happen. And since then, everyone kind of caved in and accepted his offer. Our place is like the only place that hasn't, because it's our home and we're not scared of him. And so, yeah, Remy and Marissa arrive at town. They have a moment. They're about to kiss. And that's when I'm kind of like, isn't he married to Rogue? Was he just about to cheat on her? I don't know. Someone tell me. I'm not following the X-Men. I'm not following anything from Marvel other than Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is the only thing that I'm reading, other than, of course, this series, because it's Gambit and I like Gambit. But even then, I don't care about stuff from the big two, really. There hasn't really been anything that's like interested me. There was the White Knight, Red Hood, and then not only was that just a 2-issue series, but the second issue absolutely sucked. And then I guess there's the DC Vampires. But that series, to be honest, is not the greatest. It's schlocky, but there's a lot of parts where it's like, I gotta suspend my disbelief. Like, there's no way these vampires should be able to take over this quickly, especially against the DC universe. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but what I'm trying to get at is that the big two aren't giving me anything. I'm getting all my good stuff from like independents and other publishers. I mean, hell, one of the best things I've ever read, which I just reviewed earlier today, was Europe Comics, which I believe is actually publishing stuff from Europe. I believe that's why they're called Europe Comics. But basically what I'm trying to get at is that I got to go to Europe and I got to go to the Indies to find some good stuff. So I'm not following the main two, so anyone tell me what the timeline is here. I know this isn't the present, because in the first issue, they mentioned that this series took place between 2 arcs or whatever. Basically, there's a point in time where Storm gets turned into a child, and then I think in the current run, she's back to being an adult again. And this is just kind of like, here's what happened in the crazy adventures she went on while she was still a child. So this is a little bit in the past, but I don't know if it's far enough in the past that Remy isn't married to Rogue yet. Are they even still married? Is that even canon? Or was that for like some kind of spin-off Elseworld that's been retconned? I don't know. You guys tell me. But anyways, yeah, he's about to kiss this girl when they get attacked, and it's by more of Solar's men. And I'm going to leave it there. There's a bit more. But yeah, I will say it's okay. Maybe I'm judging it too harshly because I read Empty Eyes, which blew my freaking mind. Like the first perfect 10 out of 10 comic I've ever read. So to go from that and then reading Gambit, it's kind of like, I don't know if that's fair to Gambit. Maybe I should have read Gambit first before I read Empty Eyes so that my expectations wouldn't be so high. But I mean, artwork is fine, coloring is fine, writing is fine, story is pretty cliche. I mean, it's basically, they come across this family that has a house that this big rich guy wants to buy, and since they won't sell it, he's threatening them, and so now they got to get involved to help this family out. It's a story that's been told so many times before, nothing new. So, but I mean, it's not told terribly. So if you're okay with that, then sure, check out Gambit. Otherwise, it's kind of forgettable so far. Again, maybe it's just my expectations were just set so high from Empty Eyes that to come back down to this is just throwing me off. But yeah, this is just kind of like, it is what it is. It's average. If I were to grade it, 6 out of 10, yeah, like a C+. But there you go. I'm hoping it gets a lot better. I mean, it is Chris Claremont. He's pretty good when it comes to X-Men. He's like the guy for X-Men. But so far, it's just he's not. I don't know. It feels like he's just kind of his heart's not in this series. This isn't his best work. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It just is. But yeah, there you go. Gambit, issue number 2 from Marvel Comics. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.